All right. So Kay is on vacation this month. So this is Clay Sean. I'm filling in for her, and I'm actually doing this first education moment. So let's go ahead and go to the slide. So first question that comes out when people look at BNI is how much does it cost and what's the time commitment? And that's something that we need to look at because it's not a real good comparison to the real world because, well, go to the next slide. When you look at how much money you spend, you're buying leads, you're doing brand advertising, you're working other referral networks, but your budget is quite substantial, but the ROI that you get is not anywhere near the return that you're going to get with BNI. So when you're looking at the financial aspect, the money is not that much compared to what the return is because the amount of investment in BNI being a 1 year premium is nothing compared to doing advertising every week and the comparison from the podcast was talking about doing advertising on the yellow pages and print advertising and things like that. This is a very low cost expense when you compare it to those types of opportunities. Next slide. And then when you look at the time, when you have a low close rate opportunity, you spend a lot of time working those things. I think about the leads that we get. We buy these internet leads. You got to contact them 7 times. You've got all this time spent, and your close rate is always in single digit. It is not a big return, and it's always about hunting in those kinds of environments. Well, when you're hunting, that time spent is a lot of expense. But let's go to the next slide. When you turn it to a farming environment, that's what BNI is. In farming, you're going to have the meetings. In the meetings, you're going to do your pitch. You're going to be specific about what you're looking for. You're going to change it regularly. You're going to refine it. You're going to practice it. You're going to make that pitch so that the rest of us can remember and understand. But the real work happens when you do the one-to-ones, when you build those relationships. Those relationships are created by us individually working together. And when we do that, we find out what that golden goose is. And what's that golden goose? That's that single individual that is going to give our fellow member, an opportunity, more than one opportunity. They're going to give them opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. And that's where you build those relationships through it. And then what do you get? You get results that are referrals, not leads. And those referrals, I'd venture to say that every person in here can say that their referral close rate through BNI is higher, way higher than any kind of lead. So we're looking at those higher close rates. And then the next slide. So what are we really talking about when we look at BNI? Well, you've got a time and money commitment, but you have to invest in it. And I thought this was lines that came from this podcast, Time and Money. And I'll tell you, the first one was, there is no better use of my money than BNI. I'm not going to get a better return on investment than the money that I spend in BNI. And there is no better use of my time than BNI because I'm going to get the same kind of return of investment because of the time commitment. So I love this last one. If you treat BNI as your best customer, BNI will become your best customer. And that's where you're going to succeed. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for sharing that, Clay. Now we're going to move on to Brian's favorite part of the meeting, notable